NASCAR celebrates a head-to-head TV ratings win over Formula One, but the underlying data tells a slightly different story. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you'll join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be streaming live on this channel with The Iceberg, Danny B, Auto Racing Analytics. We'll talk Texas, break down the latest NASCAR news, and get y'all prepared for Kansas this coming weekend. That's tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope you'll stop by. We have a lot of ground to cover. NASCAR Full Speed Season 2 premieres today on Netflix. I have not seen the new season yet, but I'm planning to watch it with my wife over the next few days because I believe she is the show's target audience. A casual fan who knows what NASCAR is, obviously, because she's married to me. She's even been to a few races at this point, but she is not a hardcore fan. She's not paying close attention every Sunday, but I think that is the kind of fan this show is attempting to convert from a casual into a hardcore race fan. I don't think anyone should expect Full Speed to have the same impact on NASCAR that Drive to Survive did on F1 here in the States. Drive to Survive captured lightning in a bottle. It's gone on for multiple seasons. I think many would view NASCAR Full Speed as almost like the sequel to that, and the sequel's not usually as good as the original. So I wouldn't expect Full Speed to turn NASCAR into an overnight cultural sensation, but its goal should be to convert casual fans into hardcore fans. That's what I think. That's the perspective I have going into this new season. I'm excited to check it out over the next few days. Speaking of Formula One, this past Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series and Formula One went head-to-head in the United States for the first time this season. We talked about this yesterday, but NASCAR at Texas earned over 2.5 million viewers on cable, while F1 at Miami on network TV earned 2.1 million. A significant overall ratings win for NASCAR, especially when you look at Formula One, dropped 50% year over year. Woo! NASCAR was so excited by yesterday's news, they put out a press release and everything, took a virtual victory lap. In head-to-head comparisons with other major racing series, NASCAR continues to lead, reinforcing its growing relevance and unmatched ability to attract both new and longtime motorsports fans in America. That's right, NASCAR very excited to defend their home turf and outdraw Formula One in American viewership. And that is impressive considering the select few US F1 events per year, considering they went head-to-head, considering F1 had the advantage of being on broadcast network television. That is something for NASCAR to be proud of. But if you look at some of the deeper statistics, there are still some real concerns that NASCAR needs to address. Yes, NASCAR bested F1 in overall TV viewership, but if you look at that prime age 18 to 49 demographic, Formula One continues to clean up. Formula One continues to be more popular than NASCAR among younger American audiences. That is something stock car racing should be very concerned with. Now look, I could sit here and write an essay throwing out thousands of different theories as to why NASCAR is struggling to attract younger viewers. We could talk about how there are less recognizable consumer brands on race cars today. We could talk about how car culture in America has shifted, may not be quite as widespread, and those who are interested in working on their cars are more likely to watch IMSA or NHRA where the box is bigger. So I could throw out different ideas all day long, but for the sake of simplicity, I want to touch on just a few key points. The broadcast. Most cup races are on cable TV. Millennials, Gen Z, they don't pay for cable. The races are 3 to 4 hours long, blanketed with full screen commercials. At any time, I can pull up TikTok or Instagram Reels, scroll for pretty much forever, seeing little to no ads, get that instant gratification, that dopamine hit every few seconds. Younger audiences are not conditioned to sit through 3 to 4 hour events, especially not when over an hour of said event is covered with Ozempic and Peyronie's disease commercials. Second point, betting. Sports betting in the US is on the rise. And while betting on NASCAR has increased in large part thanks to the state of North Carolina making it legal, it still lags behind most other major sports leagues. I'm not big into sports betting personally, but I know a lot of young people are, and every day it seems a new sports book pops up and they all have their own app. NASCAR is trying to keep up with other major sports leagues. And my third and final point for now, video games. iRacing boomed obviously during the pandemic, but it's always been and continues to be very popular amongst hardcore fans. But it's not as accessible as a traditional console video game. I and many of my friends really got into the sport in the mid-2000s thanks to the EA Sports NASCAR Thunder titles. Playing NASCAR Thunder 2004 on my PlayStation 2 in my parents' living room, that is how I learned many of the drivers, how I got familiar with the cars, the paint schemes, the tracks. It has been nearly half a decade since NASCAR's last console video game release, and it's been longer than that since the last quality console video game release. iRacing is currently working on a new NASCAR console adaptation set to release later this fall. That's very exciting. In the meantime, NASCAR has attempted to fill in the gaps. They've collaborated with Rocket League, Fortnite, Roblox, where apparently they saw 15 million unique viewers in their first couple of months. That's just more evidence that the flashy NASCAR brand race cars, that's attractive to younger audiences. Hopefully, a quality, fully fleshed out new console game will create that next generation of diehard fans like the older titles did for me and my friends over 20 years ago. But anyway, those are just a few points. Again, I could go on and on and on, throw out all sorts of different theories. If you have any ideas as to how NASCAR can be more attractive to younger audiences, leave them down in the comment section below. Great that NASCAR on cable beat F1 head-to-head on network TV, but those 18 to 49-year-old numbers continue to be concerning. Remember what Mike Joy said on Harvick's Happy Hour a few weeks ago? In so many words, he said that NASCAR is not attracting younger audiences the way they need to if they want to propel this sport into the next generation. NASCAR still has work to do to capture the attention of younger American viewers. But moving on, while we're on the topic of TV, yesterday TNT Sports unveiled their full talent lineup for their 5-race Cup Series summer stretch. We already knew of the Adam Alexander, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte broadcast booth. That is now official. The pit reporters, excited to see Alan Cavana on TV. Danielle Trotta is great. Marty Snyder, obviously fantastic. Their studio show will pull the CW duo of Parker Kligerman and Jamie McMurray over to TNT, but what really piques my interest is this Altcast featuring Jeff Burton and America's crew chief Larry McReynolds. So is this going to be like NASCAR's version of the Manning cast that ESPN does during Monday Night Football? Remember, the TNT portion of the NASCAR Cup Series schedule begins June 28th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's a 5-race stretch that will include the first ever NASCAR in-season tournament. Every race will be broadcast on TNT, will also be streamed live on Max, and this Altcast featuring Larry Mack and Jeff Burton will apparently be shown on True TV, another cable channel. According to their press release, the Altcast will focus primarily on the in-season tournament, analyzing those different head-to-head matchups, which I think I like. I like the idea of giving the in-season tournament fans a separate place to go to consume that content. See, when the in-season tournament idea was first introduced, I think I said at the time that I was concerned it would be information overload on the main broadcast. The main broadcast already has so many storylines to keep track of, the regular season point standings, overarching narratives, to ask them to also keep up with 8 or 16 different head-to-head matchups all at once, that is a big ask. So having a separate dedicated broadcast for fans of the in-season tournament may not be a bad idea. See, the in-season tournament, in my opinion, was created by DraftKings. Going back to the sports betting conversation, like having different head-to-head matchups, additional rivalries to bet on, that just seems like something the sports betting industry would fully wrap their arms around. So having a separate broadcast for those fans to check out doesn't seem like a bad idea, in my opinion. And who doesn't love Larry McReynolds? Get the man on TV as much as humanly possible. As far as the rest of the broadcast talent, I mean, pretty much every single one of these names fans are extremely familiar with. A lot of industry veterans. Again, I'm excited to see Alan Cavana on TV. He's been doing a lot of great work with PRN, MRN, a lot of radio stuff recently, but I think he'll be awesome on camera. The one thing that interests me and maybe is slightly disappointing is how much industry crossover there is. Like Jeff Burton being pulled over from NBC, Larry McReynolds pulled over from Fox. I mentioned Kligerman, McMurray, Adam Alexander. They're on the CW right now. Like, I guess with these new broadcast partners, I was hoping to see a few new opportunities for new talent. I do appreciate what Amazon Prime is doing. Their studio show features Carl Edwards, Corey LaJoy. They've never been in those roles before. I think that's exciting. That's fresh. I guess I wanted to see one or two new names mixed in here, but I do appreciate how young this lineup is overall. As great as Mike Joy is, he won't be calling races forever. We've seen on the radio side with greats like Doug Rice, Jeff Striegel taking a step back. So many iconic broadcast voices have either retired or getting close to retirement. We need good young people ready to take their place when the time comes. So I do at least appreciate the relatively youthful lineup of on-air talent that TNT is presenting here. That's my take. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. We'll wrap up with this. I know this has been a very TV-centered episode. Yesterday, NASCAR officially announced that the 2026 championship weekend will be hosted by Homestead Miami Speedway. After next year, NASCAR says the championship venue will rotate. Homestead, Phoenix will be part of that rotation. Ben Kennedy, NASCAR's chief schedule guy, assured fans that super speedway racing, and road courses for that matter, will not be part of the championship rotation.
Never say never, but I think we've unanimously agreed that it needs to look and feel like what we would expect traditional NASCAR racing to look and feel like. So short tracks, intermediate tracks, mile tracks are all on the board.
He said never say never, but I'm going to say it. The season finale should never take place at Daytona International Speedway. I don't care if it's a Championship 4 format. I don't care if it's a full 36 race points format. The season finale should never be held at a super speedway. When were restrictor plates first introduced? Was it 88? It was late 80s. Show me any style of racing at Daytona from the 90s to the 2000s, 2020, to present day. I would not want to see that style of racing potentially decide the champion. So much is beyond the driver's control. It's so easy to get swept up in a crash not of your own doing. It's one thing if Daytona or Talladega is like the 5th to last race of the season, because then if you crash out or get caught up in something, well, you have 4 weeks to get those points back to recover. But say Talladega is hosting the championship and the points leader gets swept up in the big one, loses out on the title. That would be an impossible pill for anyone to swallow. So no, never. Daytona, Talladega, even Atlanta at this point should never host the finale. I don't care what playoff format we're talking about. I will die on this hill. But maybe you disagree. I did see comments in yesterday's video, and I don't think they were being sarcastic. People saying Daytona should be the championship. I don't know if I should take those comments seriously. Look, I'm all for beginning the season and ending the season in Florida, but we should start at Daytona, finish at Homestead, Miami, if that's the case. Anyway, if you want to see the championship at Daytona, Talladega, let me know why down in the comment section below. Give me some good reasons. I may be stubborn, but it's not impossible to change my mind. Thanks for watching this episode, folks. That's all I've got. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR news, rumors, content, and so much more every single day. Again, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be streaming live right here on this show. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching this episode, folks. I will talk with you again real soon.